Erica's not picking up. So. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I wanted to thank everyone for coming today. And Alice and I discussed what we should do at this event, and we thought we should have a very brief speech. And we actually practiced it, and it was about 10 words, and she said, that's enough. But I came here on Thursday, and I sat down on the bench, and I thought of a few other things that I thought I should say. So we originally planned to have this day when Nigel was over and we're all well, and unfortunately it hasn't turned out that way. Obviously Nigel would love to be here and Alice would love to be here, but it's not going to happen today. All of us would have spent considerable time with my father, and when we weren't actually in his presence, we always were thinking about when we were going to be in his presence again. So, and we're going to be seeing him soon. So, and for me, over the years, this has sort of morphed into being a regular walk around the Abbey grounds, and that's why we're here today. Dad loved his walks around the Abbey grounds, and he would say good morning to every friendly stranger who passed. So this is, I think, a perfect place for him to be, I guess, left, but not left on his own. So when I would come here on those Abbey walks, I would arrive in the morning and he'd be there in the kitchen, he'd be all kitted out, he'd have poked his nose out the back door to see what the weather was like, so he was wearing the right stuff. So this really was a great day in his week, I think. And as he slowed down on his walks over the years, he needed more and more pit stops as he went, and quite often you wouldn't find a bench. So when you walk this walk that we've just been on, feeding the wildlife as we went, there are very few benches. There you'd find a low-hanging branch or maybe a tree stump where they've lopped something down and it'll be the wrong height for him. So it was always a bit of a struggle, this part of the grounds. So that was the idea, that we would put a bench here because it was quite difficult to motivate Dad as he went around here and having to stop, and we couldn't always get away with saying there's an ice cream at the end of the last run. So it was always a little bit difficult, this walk at the end. So that's why we've chosen to put a bench here, and it's hopefully helps us to get to closure. I'm finding it quite difficult to get to closure with Dad. One minute you're seeing him on a weekly basis, and then he's not there, and you're seeing him every day. In your mind, you're seeing him every day, and I find that quite difficult. So we've chosen this seat, put the seat at the end of Pilgrim's Lawn, at the end of it's not at the end of his it's halfway around his hardest walk. And hopefully he'll have the opportunity here to speak to us. I mean, we can always come here, and I think there'll be many other walkers in his situation who now have a bench you can sit down, and maybe, you know, he'll have a chance to have a chat with them, which I'm sure he'd love to do. So I think, as Dad would say to everybody as they went past, I think, good morning, Dad. We love you, and maybe your journey is over now, but I think if I asked him that, he would probably say Bardo Kidogo. Nearly, but not quite. So that's all I had to say, and I'm now going to disappear into the woods, and Sophie might do a dance or something to distract you while I struggle.
Is there a way we can take it in turns to go for a week? Or?
I've no idea. We just so everyone knows, we had a bit of trouble opening. We had a practice earlier because we didn't know how to open this thing, but we figured it out thanks to Colin punching a hole in the top. So I'll go and have a try, and
maybe
yeah.
Because you can't go in the woods
right
with
down
you.
there. Okay, we're going to scatter Dad's ashes in amongst the trees. All right.
Do you think she might want to watch in the wheelchair or something? Because she can't see from
Sophie, you're welcome to try. It's quite heavy still.
Does anybody else want to go?
No.
Okay.
You carry on, sir.
It's like a huge salt shaker.
Well, I'm glad it's only a slight breeze coming this way.
There's so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. If I keep moving, the insects might leave me alone.
It's all blowing back, isn't it? I think that's basically it.